Hi, it's me, Dr. Prasad Pudhilam. I obtained my master degree from University of Mysore with first rank. Continued to Doctor of Philosophy, that is PhD, from VTU Belgaum in applied chemistry. Over the past 15 years, I've been teaching chemistry and applied chemistry for pre-university, UG and PG students. I worked as a member of Board of Studies as well as Board of Exams. Over this tenure, I could able to write and publish more than 22 academic textbooks with ISBN number and more than 30 research articles published in international journals. I am also handling the government funded research projects. Right now I am on YouTube with my YouTube channel, My Intuition, which is dedicated for chemistry classes as well as coaching classes for freely for 10+1, that is first PUC, and 10+2, that is second PUC. If you are watching this video, please share this information to the parents and students. So if you are a student, please subscribe my channel and share this information to your friends. Watch my video completely. Share your feedback or any doubts if you have to the comment box or to the WhatsApp number which is given. This class is for first PUC 10+1 chemistry unit 12 class number 11 of unit 12 quantitative analysis. Continuing classes from class number 10 where we estimated or seen the estimation of carbon, hydrogen and nitrogen. So now sulfur, halogens and phosphorus. Halogens can be estimated by a method known as Carrier's method. So this is the Carrier's tube, okay, containing fuming nitric acid and silver nitrate. Organic compound is taken in a smaller test tube, which is dipped into that Carrier's tube. Okay, this is the Carrier's tube full view. It is approximately 50 centimeter in length and 2 centimeter in width. Okay, we have to seal out the top of that Carrier's tube. Then it undergoes chemical reaction, which is kept in a heating chamber, heated at a furnace at of 553 to 563 Kelvin for 5 to 6 hours. So the chemical reaction which is happening is halogens react with silver nitrate, produce silver halide, and nitrate ions will be formed. So this AgX form, the silver halide form, will be collected in the Carrier's tube itself. Let the organic compound taken is m gram and the formed silver halide is m1 gram. Then weight of organic compound taken is m gram, weight of AgX formed is m1 gram, and we know that 1 mole of AgX may be AgBr, AgCl or AgI. Therefore commonly X is given. 1 mole of AgX gives 1 mole of X. Okay, maybe Br, Cl or I. That is 1 mole only. Or we can say gram molar mass of AgX will be equal to gram atomic mass of X, that is halogen. Or 1 gram of AgX will be containing gram atomic mass of X divided by gram molar mass of AgX. Here we have m1 gram of AgX. Okay, here the value is not given, straightly calculated 1 gram. Okay, because it is AgX is mentioned, it is not mentioned as AgCl or AgBr or AgI. That's why directly calculated for 1 gram. Or we can say gram atomic mass converted to 1 gram. It gives this much amount of halogen. Or m1 gram, we have m1 gram of AgX is formed. Therefore, it will be producing this value, that is gram atomic mass of X divided by gram molar mass of AgX multiplied by m1 gram of halogen. Or we can say percentage of halogen will be weight of halogen divided by weight of organic compound multiplied by 100. Weight of X, that is calculated here, atomic mass of X divided by molar mass of AgX multiplied by m1 divided by weight of organic compound, that is m, multiplied by 100. Or we can rewrite it as atomic mass of X multiplied by m1 divided by molar mass of AgX multiplied by m. Further AgX, that is divided by m multiplied by 100. Or we can say percentage of halogen calculated like this. Percentage of Br will be atomic mass of bromine, that is 79.904. Sometimes it is taken as 80 also, upon 187.77 or 188 multiplied by 100. Percentage of chlorine, that is 35.453 multiplied by m1 divided by 143.32, that is molar mass of AgCl, divided by molar mass of amount of organic compound taken, that is M, multiplied by 100. Percentage of iodine, that is 126.904, divided by 234.77, multiplied by M1, divided by M, multiplied by 100. So even sulfur also can be estimated by Carrier's method. So here the Carrier's tube containing the organic compound, it is heated for 5 to 6 hours, so that the sulfur present in the compound will react with the steam, or it undergo oxidation in presence of nitric acid to give H2SO4, sulfuric acid. Further, barium chloride solution is added to that mixture, so that sulfuric acid reacts with the barium chloride BaCl2 to become barium sulfate BaSO4, which will precipitate. Okay, so let the weight of precipitate, which is dried, washed, dried, and it is weighed. Let the weight is taken as M1 gram, and weight of organic compound is M gram. Therefore, percentage of sulfur can be calculated as atomic mass of sulfur multiplied by weight of barium sulfate formed, divided by molar mass of barium sulfate, divided by mass of organic compound taken. Atomic mass of sulfur, that is 32. Barium sulfate molar mass is 233. Therefore, 32 M1 divided by 233 divided by M multiplied by 100. Now, estimation of phosphor. Phosphor also can be estimated by Carrier's method. Two different chemicals can also be used there. So it is heated, organic compound is heated for 5 to 6 hours. If it contains phosphor, it reacts with nitric acid to form phosphoric acid X3PO4. Magnesium mixture is further added. Magnesium mixture is a mixture of magnesium chloride, ammonium chloride, and ammonia solution. Then H3PO4 will be converted into MgNH4PO4, that is magnesium ammonium phosphate, which will precipitate. It is washed, dried, and on ignition, further on combustion or heating, it will be converted into Mg2P2O7, which is called as magnesium pyrophosphate. So weight of magnesium pyrophosphate is taken M1 gram, and weight of organic compound is M gram. Then it is easy to calculate the weight percentage of phosphorus. Say 1 mole of Mg2P2O7, it consists of 2 moles of phosphorus. So the chemical formula itself gives P2, it is there. Therefore, we can say 2 moles of phosphorus. For gram molar mass of Mg2P2O7 is equal to 2 into gram atomic mass of phosphorus, or gram molecular mass of phosphorus. Okay, so here it is phosphorus exists as atom P only. Therefore, 2 into gram atomic mass of phosphorus. Gram molar mass of Mg2P2O7 by calculating atomic mass of oxygen 16, phosphorus and magnesium adding up, you get 222 gram of, which is equal to 62 gram of phosphorus. Therefore, 1 gram of Mg2P2O7 will be having 62 upon 222 gram of phosphorus. Or we can say our weight Mg2P2O7 is M1 gram. M1 gram will be 62 upon 222 multiplied by M1. Therefore, percentage of phosphorus is equal to 62 divided by 222 M1 divided by mass of organic compound, that is M, multiplied by 100. So that is one of the method. Second method in which the chemical is different. So here ammonia and ammonium molybdate is added after treating with nitric acid. When phosphoric acid H3PO4 is formed, it is treated. Okay, this one should not come here. So it will be becoming ammonium phosphomolybdate. Okay, MgCl2, NH4Cl, and NH3, which was magnesia reagent discussed in previous slide. So here, by treating with ammonia and ammonium molybdate, we are getting ammonium phosphomolybdate, which will precipitate. Let the weight as M1 gram, and organic compound is M gram. Therefore, 1 mole of NH4 twice PO4 dot 12 MoO3, it gives 1 mole of phosphorus. The moles of phosphorus present is 1 here. Or we can say gram molecular mass of NH4 twice PO4 12 MoO3 will be equal to gram atomic mass of phosphorus. The gram molar mass is calculated as 1877 gram, consists of 31 gram of phosphorus. Therefore, 1 gram contains 31 upon 1877 gram. So we have M1 gram of the compound produced. Therefore, M1 31 divided by 1877 multiplied by M1 gram of phosphorus is formed. Therefore, now we can calculate percentage of phosphorus. We got the amount of phosphorus. We have the amount of organic compound taken multiplied by 100. That is 31 M1 divided by 1877 divided by molar weight of organic compound M multiplied by 100. Okay, therefore, two methods. If the precipitate based on the chemicals we added, we can calculate the percentage of phosphorus. Now the last one, after carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur, halogens and phosphorus, the remaining is oxygen. Oxygen can be calculated easily as, because our compound, the total percentage will be 100. Therefore, it can be calculated as 100 minus or 100 reducing from 100 with the sum of percentage of other elements. Or we can calculate oxygen separately. Oxygen can be estimated by heating with organic compound. That organic compound can be heated in presence of nitrogen gas, and it is passed through red hot coke that is containing carbon. Carbon monoxide formed, which will further react with iodine pentoxide I2O5, gives carbon dioxide and iodine. By measuring carbon dioxide or iodine, we can calculate the percentage of oxygen. Say by measuring carbon dioxide, let it be M1 gram, and m gram of organic compound is taken, then percentage of oxygen will be equal to 32 M1 divided by 44 M multiplied by 100. So this is also a method to calculate quantitatively, calculate the percentage of oxygen. Okay, so this is the conclusion. Percentage of Br, percentage of chlorine, percentage of iodine, percentage of sulfur. 4/2 chemicals, percentage of phosphorus also can be calculated. Percentage of oxygen can be calculated separately, or it is easy to calculate by reducing from out of 100. Sum total of percentage of other elements, which is reduced from 100. Nowadays, we won't go for such type of methods, but we have analysis a sophisticated instrument known as CHNS elemental analysis analyzer. C represents carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, and sulfur elemental analyzer. We have to take the organic compound, and it will give the reading. It will the computer screen will display the percentage of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur, oxygen, whatever element which is present there, that will be displayed. So thank you very much for watching my video. Please subscribe my video and share this video to the PU students or +1 or +2 students. Once again, thank you very much. Have a nice day.